Hi everybody, it's me, Carrie. Just getting myself a little organized today. I am really kind of excited about today's card. Here in Michigan, it has not really felt much like fall until recently. So it's like I haven't been in the mood to do a fall card. But today, as you can see from the colors that I'm using, I am absolutely ready for some fall cards. So I am going to be using the Love of Leaves and the matching dies, which are called Stitched Leaves. These are in the annual catalog. I know that there is another leaf set in the mini catalog, if that is your preference. It would probably work similar to this one. I just didn't, to be honest, it's beautiful, but I love this stamp set and I just didn't see buying another leaf stamp set, which I think probably you guys can relate to, right? Because you don't sell Stampin' Up. Well, some of you do, I know. But if you're not selling the product, you don't necessarily have to buy another one, right? Well, I do sell the product, but this was still current. So I didn't feel like I had to buy another one. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so here we go. I'm going to give you some dimensions first. Of course, the card base is 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to fold this in half to make our card base. And I did not grab my bone folder. Grab that. What did I do with it? There it is, down there. It always seems to slip in my basket for some reason. I think I put it somewhere and I don't really put it where it belongs. All right, so there we go. There is our card base. Now I have a piece of Very Vanilla and Bumblebee. Both are cut at 4 inches by 5.25. This is going to go on the front of the card and this one is going to go on the inside, but we're going to decorate it, of course. And then I have a piece of this is Early Espresso. I'm sorry. Bumblebee. Another Early Espresso. This is cut 3.5 by 3.5. Some Designer Series paper from the Symmetry. What is it called? Sweet Symmetry stamp. Designer Series paper. Some of you may recognize it. This is cut 3.25 by 3.25. So it's going to be matted onto that. And then 2 pieces that are cut 1.5 by, am I right about that? Let me look. 1.5 by 2.75. And this is Old Olive and Mary Merlot. So let's start by doing the easy stuff. So I'm going to set that aside for now. And I'm going to adhere this to the Early Espresso using my stamping seal. So if you're watching, say hello. Tell me where you're from, and let me know if this is the first time you've ever watched. And are you watching it live? Are you watching a replay? And are you watching because somebody shared my video and you followed that link? Just as a reminder, if you share my video, you will be in a drawing at the beginning of next month for some free stuff. And also, let me know what the weather's like by you guys. It's a little chilly here today. Like I said, fall has finally fallen here in Michigan. Parts of Michigan, up in the Upper Peninsula, or as we call it, UP, there has been snow. I don't think anything has stuck, but I know that farther up north, which is almost Canada, that UP. So anyway, so that's on there. So we're going to leave that like that. And then I stamped all of these images, all of the leaf images, except for this one. I stamped them in Versamark, and then I embossed them, and then I die cut them out. Now, I was going to show you how to do that, but you guys understand how to stamp and emboss. I embossed it in clear. So let me show you how that came out. Here are all my leaves. I did one. This is the same color. It is in the Mary Merlot. This is in Bumblebee. This one is Cinnamon Cider. And this is Old Olive. But you can see, because I embossed them, they have more of a sheen, which is kind of fun. Also, these dies, oh my gosh, I love these dies. They put stitching in with your stamp. And if you can see this, I put some of that awesome tape that I like so much. It's Post-it tape. And I just leave it on there because when I use them, I'm going to want the stitching 99% of the time anyway. So I did all of that with Versamark. So rather than have you guys watch me do that, I thought I would do that. Now here's another interesting die from this die collection. It's a bunch of stitching. And I was debating on if I was going to use it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use it. And I'm going to use it down here at the bottom of this Bumblebee cardstock. So forgive me for a minute while I turn around and run this through my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. One of the things I'm doing to make sure it's straight, just so you know, is I am tapping it, but I'm also looking at where the stitch line goes. Now I've got to stitch really close to the edge here and really close to the edge here. So I'm going to scoot it over a little bit. That way I don't have some weird stitching right at the edge. Hopefully. Hopefully if I did it right, that is what we're going to have. So let me use that. And carefully set that down. I probably should have taped that too, right? Okay. Okay, cool. Can you see what that did? How fun, right? It's just so fun. If you flip it over, you can have the stitches going up, which I guess if you want to be particular, you could say you would feel the stitching. So some people may prefer to do it that way. I just like the way it looks better this way. Just my personal opinion. So now what I want to do is I want to put all of these pieces on here. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But I want these two pieces to be behind here. So I'm going to figure out where I want this. And I'm going to just estimate it. Then I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of my Mary Merlot piece. And I'm going to, I want it a little bit lower, so I'm going to hold it down right there until I'm at the edge, and then I'm going to move that. That is how I measure. I mean, you can sit and do the math if that makes you happy. Go ahead. But that's not my thing. Even though I worked in the accounting department at my well, technically my current job. I'm still off on medical, but I don't think my job is there anymore, as I've mentioned before. So, okay, now I'm going to just do the same thing with the Old Olive. I'm going to kind of get an idea of where I want it. Move that out of the way. And I'm doing it right to the edge here of the Bumblebee so that you guys can see that. I'm going to just check real quick if I'm in frame. Just barely in frame. Sorry about that. Okay. It's really hard to tell because I don't have my computer hooked up. So I'm missing a leaf. There it is. Okay, so now this is going to go on there. Let's do it so the leaves are going the right way. Isn't that pretty? I just think it's just, and this just added a little bit of fun, right? So now I'm going to add this to the front again using my Stampin' Seal. You could pop this up, but it's already going to have a lot of dimensions, so I just thought I would kind of leave this flat. All right. Now, before I put it on the front, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp the inside. And the only reason is it's just a personal preference thing. I like my cards to lay really flat, and I'm going to want to crease it again. And I don't want to crease it while that's on there. I don't know why. It doesn't really matter. It's just, you know, it's just how weird am I? That's just what it is. All right. So now that I'm going to stamp, and this is a photopolymer stamp, I am putting down my foam mat, and The outside, I'm going to show you in just a minute, but this inside sentiment, it's this card, this stamp set has some really great sentiments. I hope changes everything. I thought of you today, which I'm actually going to put on the front. This is what's going on the inside. Your friendship is something I know I can count on. Thank you. Hello. I'm so glad you're in my life. That would actually be a really good sentiment on the inside. In fact, I think I'm going to switch it up because I just am. I just am because I changed my mind about what I'm going to do. And you probably heard me dropping stuff everywhere. That's what happens. Do you guys do that when you're crafting? Do you like have a plan and then you go, oh, never mind, I'm going to do something else? So that is me. That is so me everywhere. And anybody who's ever gone to like a crop with me will tell you, I can't get anything done because I can almost never plan a scrapbook page. I have to do it by the seat of my pants. And when I take things to a crop, I decide that everything I took isn't what I decided I wanted after all. It's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse, as Monk used to say. I think someone said it before him. So I'm stamping, I'm so glad you're in my life. So isn't that pretty, right? So now just to make this a little bit more fun, I'm going to stop knocking my stuff around with any luck whatsoever. Put this on top. Isn't this pretty? This actually comes in the big, this is a half a sheet, but I know I need little pieces, but I love this. As you guys know, anybody who has my business cards looks at the top of my banner of my page, my pens, everything. I love this. So I use it all the time. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break out some stamps in the same colors that I told you that I did already. Okay. And I'm just going to add a little bit to this inside of the card. Just a little bit. I don't want to get like crazy carried away because I want to leave room to write a note. I mean, if you're writing something like this, I'm so glad you're in my life, you probably have a little more to say. I mean, you could just sign it, but you might want to say something to your friend about how amazing it's been to know her or him for so many years. So I'm just going to add just a few, and you can see that this is definitely darker. So, you can then do another one, and then you get a lighter version of the same image. Oh, I want to leave this out because I'm also going to stamp my envelope. So let's do that. I'm not going to do a ton here because they're going to be overlapping. I'm not taking the time to mat them. I'm just kind of stamping them on there. See, now that looks weird, right? So I definitely need to add another ink. So I'm going to use Cinnamon Cider. And I think I'm going to stamp this one off so it's not quite so dark. Yeah. And I'm going to go like that. So there we go. That's enough for me to make me happy for the inside. So while you have all of this out, you may as well grab your envelope, right? And get your envelope stamped. Now, I like to do just the flap. So when I'm doing just the flap, I will go like that. Okay, so I get just the flap. So I wanted you guys to see that. But I want to have a space for it to stamp off, right? You don't want it to stamp onto your pad. Oops, I didn't make that long enough. So I'm going to go like that. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the lighter colors and move my way up to the other colors. I'm going to stamp it off this time. Stamp it, huff on it, and stamp again. Just off to the edge there. That barely showed up, but it's okay. I don't mind that at all. Then going to stamp again in the Mary Merlot, this awesome image. And then maybe I'll stamp this one off a little bit also, like that. Now see, that is from where it didn't go on there, which is fine. Personal opinion. Stamping it again. So now I've got the Mary Merlot all over the back. I'm going to do some of the cinnamon cider, which was with, I already did the cinnamon cider. Nope, I did the bumblebee. So now I'm going to do the cinnamon cider in what color? This one. Also, again, very dark. So I'm stamping it off. Okay, and then lastly, Old Olive. It looks like a giant mess, right? I mean, it really does. But I think that when it's on an envelope flap, it's totally okay. Now, this is bugging me, that right there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp that in there so it hides it a little bit. And I'm going to stamp a few more of these around on here, just to kind of fill in the places where I feel like it didn't get covered enough. I think that's good. I think that's good. And voila, now you have a really pretty back of your envelope. That looked like a hot mess while I was stamping, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you guys like it? I really do. I think it looks really pretty. Now, if you are seeing a slight edge right there, I think, I can't sort of it, but I think it's from the edge of the inside here. It made it slightly uneven. So, but there's a couple of ways. I could have stamped it this way and put a note card or sticky note or something there to keep me from doing it. But it's just as easy to fold your paper over, in my personal opinion. Okay, so now the envelope is done. The inside is done. So I need to do the sentiment. So I want to show you what I did for the sentiment. I took a whole nother color and I stamped in Calypso Coral this leaf, which is not any of the ones I cut out. And I looked at that and went, pretty, too dark. So I flipped it over. And then it was light enough. And then in, again, Early Espresso, I stamped my outside and sentiment. Gosh, good work with the tongue today, Carrie. I thought of you today, which I just thought went really well. I mean, you certainly could have done it in another color, and introducing another design color maybe is not your thing. Maybe you would have preferred to do this in like the Bumblebee, a second generation of Bumblebee, or one of the other colors. But I just thought that that was fun because leaves do also occasionally turn sort of an orangey color. So then I just took this, and with the double oval, it fit really good in the double oval. I punched that out, and then I punched out this one in Early Espresso. Oh, I'm sorry, in Mary Merlot. So I have those. So now I have all of my pieces ready to be put together. And I have a big hot mess, right? Okay, so now I'm going to put my inside of my card in here with just some, oops, Stampin' Seal. Of course. What else would I use, right? And I don't know about you, but I always turn it the long way. It doesn't matter what way the card goes. And that's how I choose to line mine up. And it's a little crooked. I think my cardstock was cut a little crooked. So there you go. There's your inside. Now, again, like I said, I like my cards to lay flat. I know they'll be flat by the time they get to someone, but it's easier for me to visualize it when I can see it laying flat. All right, so now I'm going to put some more Stampin' Seal I know I'm probably slightly out of camera range right now, but it's not like you guys do not know how to add adhesive, right? So I'm going to center that on to the card front. I love how it pops off of the early espresso. It's just a great little thing. Now I'm going to put the sentiment together also, just flat. This I am going to put up on Stampin' Dimensionals when I'm ready for it. But, so there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my leaves on. And I had to look at my little thing that I was mapping it out in my head. So let me grab all of the leaves that I cut out. I don't know if my sleeves are showing, but this is how chilly it is down here. I have on, these are pajamas, but they're so freaking warm that sometimes I wear them down here just to not be too cold. Because I don't know if you guys know, but I do work in my basement, so that is why. Okay, so now I'm just going to start putting these on. I am not adding any dimension to them because they are going to be layered on top of each other. And that's pretty much going to take care of the layering effect that I want. Okay. I only kind of have a half plan of this. I keep getting an adhesive thingy stuck to my finger. So let's just stick it on there. I feel like I'm missing a leaf. Am I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, I'm not. There we go. Now I know that's going to be too long, so I'm going to just snip that off. And then this last one, I have to make sure I have a lot of adhesive on it because it's going to be sticking to a couple of different layers. Because I'm putting that right like that there. And then here's my sentiment, which I'm putting up on dimensionals, like I said. I just like the way the embossing works. Now you can see that I didn't line it up perfectly. I don't care. I don't care. Sometimes I care. I don't care. So, and I'm just going to set that right there over the, oh, but then I can't see that one. So I'll scoot it down a little bit. And there we go. There is the card and the envelope and the inside of the card. What do you guys think? Do you like it? I'll hold this up in case you guys want to do a quick screen save on this one. Again, this is using the Loads of Love, Loads of Leaves stamps and the dies. This used to be bundled together. It is not anymore. Stitched Leaves dies. And again, these are in the annual catalog. So I'm thinking about doing a card kit with this, but I know it's kind of late in the season. But if you guys would be interested in a card kit where you would get both the dies and the stamp set and then a set of 4 cards and the directions, and of course this would be one of them, just let me know and I will go ahead and add that in. So again, I hope you guys liked this. Please share my video and I will see you back here on Tuesday. Bye everybody.